African connection, that East African sound. That's what you're hearing. You know? They say water got no enemy. No matter where you are in the world. Yeah. So the conversation continues. We just want to give you a little bit of taste of what this side of the continent offers. Let me say, we got soul, man. I would argue we created soul. Come on, bro. There's nothing like the African soul. There's nothing like this part of the world and what it has offered beyond all these borders. And if we just strip it down to one instrument, right over here. You see this guy? That's where it started. It all started with this. This right here, that's where it all began. And that's Africa. What is music without the heartbeat, without the beat? You know what I mean? Yeah. So yes, welcome back to the Culture Hub. Welcome back to African Connection, the African Connection. Our conversation continues not only in the state of affairs and the current environment and what African music is doing around the world, but also how to protect that, and not in a way where you're holding on to it, but in a way that is fair, not only to the creative person, you know, the people that are creating this music, and but also to the continent and what's offering to the world. So I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I think these conversations are important because we need people to understand that more than ever, the world is consuming a lot of content from the continent. We can't argue about that. It's happening. It's happening. And our brothers in West Africa are really, you know, they're charging forward. You know? So the conversation that we've been having on this side of the continent is how, not us, we've been in the race. Jabali Afrika's been in the race. You know what I mean? Like, Canaan's been in the race. You know what I mean? Like, East Africa has never been not in the race. I would argue that we've kind of been in the forefront. You know what I mean? So, this is how do we get this new generation of musicians and artists to understand what it means to represent. You know, there's different sides of representation, right? There's the representation of the continent as a whole. That's all of our job. That's everyone's charged with that. There's also the representation of where you are and your native tongue and what that brings to the world. You know? So let's have that. Let's have that conversation. All right. Let's get it.
What do you think are the things we need to use, or what mechanisms do we need to fix this situation whereby we see an industry that is bubbling, especially in this part of the world, but with weak structures? So what should we do?
Well, man, that question is wrapped with a lot of things. Mm-hmm. It's a big one. It's a really big question, and it starts locally, I would imagine. And it starts just from my perception of how the world consumes things. It's you have to appreciate what you have, first and foremost.
And do you think the labels, now that I see the labels are coming into Africa, the majors are coming into Africa. So do you think that will work in Africa? Because personally, I feel like Africa has gotten on the dinner table without their help. So why should we give them the opportunity?
I would say it would work. It will work. It will work, but it will work for the labels. It won't work for the artist. Because as long as we have this mentality that you made it once you signed, which is an old...
Repeat that again. Repeat that again.
As long as we have this mentality that you have made it once you have signed with a label, that plate is gonna be half empty, man. If some of those plates might not have any food.
So what is the solution? Should we not sign the contracts?
No, the solution, I'm not saying don't sign. Listen, with every opportunity, there is a risk. As long as you understand that risk, and you understand what's coming to you and what's going to them, then there's a fair play.
When you understand what's coming to you and what's going to them.
Yeah, when you have that understanding,
yes,
it works. Because if I'm a label, and I come to you as an African artist, and I say, hey, Muzi, you're popping. You have a lot of followers, you got a lot of music out there. I want to go into business with you, right? That conversation is a two-way street. I should not come into that conversation, you know, unleveled. As if you have as if I have something for you that you don't have. I came to you, I'm a label.
Yes.
I came to Muzi. Muzi didn't come to me.
Yes.
So as long as Muzi understands that that label that's coming to me wants something from me, and that you have the upper hand, then you're winning.
Yes.
But the moment you have the mentality of this is a savior, or this is the person that's going to take me to the promised land, or something that I've never achieved in life, they hold the key to that, then you're losing. You know, and unfortunately, a lot of our African brothers, I hate to say it, because I would have said the same thing about our African American brothers 20 years ago. That was the mentality that they had. It was like, yo, I'm a Def Jam recording artist, and
staying on the shelf.
So what if you're a Def Jam recording artist? What is Def Jam doing for you, and what are you doing for Def Jam? You know what I mean? I'm a Universal artist. Okay, you're a Universal artist. That idea of a big major label being the you know, the thing that, you know, makes you big and like certifies your music, and it's a rubber stamp.
Yes.
Right? So it's like at the end of the day, how much are you willing to pay for that rubber stamp? And in this sense, how much of your music are you willing to sell to a major? And what type of percentages are you expecting, and what type of percentages do you think that, you know, and one thing I do know is that those majors are not going to come into this part of the world without that old mentality. You know why? Because that old mentality is dead.
Yes.
In America. It's dead in Europe. You know where it's not dead?
In Africa.
Exactly.
In the motherland.
Yeah.
And that's why I've tried so much to highlight that amongst my brothers, because I know what it means. Being an artist, we always yearned for that. Sony recording artist, Universal recording artist.
Yeah.
You know, those labels, like people sometimes wrap them in a way whereby people thought that was the qualification of a successful career.
Right.
And then I remember there was a movement, especially from the groups from the South. They're telling us, go independent.
Yes.
And they're making more money
of course
than guys on majors.
Look at the Master P's.
Yes.
Look at the Cash Money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, look at the 3-6 Mafias.
Yes.
Those are pioneers of like how to really handle your business. Because at the end of the day, if you want the music that I have, then you will be willing to make a fair deal.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, there's no bigger power than the word no. What happens when a girl says no?
You want to negotiate again?
You want to negotiate this relationship, don't you?
I I
You're
like
gonna be
this.
like, hey, she said no. What the fuck? Me to me?
Yeah, and
No.
you're gonna fight more.
You're gonna fight more. You want that.
What's that thing that Ralph says? Brother Ralph says, say no. how
7
many-
times.
7 times.
Yeah.
Yes,
And then by the 8th time,
Yeah.
trust me, they're gonna come back to the table and be like, what do you really want?
yeah.
You know, what do you really like? Okay, what is it gonna take?
Yeah.
You know, so it's like we have to really understand the power of no.
Yeah.
No gets you more money.
Yeah.
No gets you better percentage. You know, so it's like I get it. A lot of artists are not in the position to say no, but sacrifice. We've all sacrificed some shit in our lives, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and and for me, it's coming from a place of experience. I've been in this fucking table. I've been dealt these cards.
Yes.
I played them. I
Yeah.
fucking took the cards and I was like, let me just play with these cards. Is this all I'm gonna get? All right, cool. Let me go with it. You know, so it's like you gotta. Yeah, man. I think we have to understand the power that we wield, and the power that we wield is our art.
And what do you say, like, with the way African music now is popping, what would be your advice compared to, like, what you guys did? First of all, you put out Africa in the different arenas. Right now, when you compare what was happening to your career,
Right.
you and Kay,
Right.
what would you say about what we're seeing on the continent, and where do you think we're going wrong, or what are we doing right?
Well, I can't speak for everyone, right? What I can speak about is our experience and what we dealt with, right? There were a lot of opportunities on the table, but the question was always, is any of this shit kosher? Is any of it make sense? You know, and where does it benefit us? And how does Kanan's musical integrity and what he stands for, how is that protected? Right?
Yeah.
And it always started with him because he was the voice. He was always the guy who was like, all right, I can go with that. I can't go with that. You know what I mean? So when you're an artist who knows their boundaries and the things that you stand for and the things that you will never compromise, it fucking takes you far, man. And that's one thing I really admired about my brother is that there was no compromising when it came, 1, to his art, 2, to the continent that he comes from, 3, the stories that he's gonna tell from that, from his continent. So those were the things that marched you forward, right? So I think there has to be a level of integrity in the things that you stand for. Number 1. Number 2, you gotta know when the fuck to walk away. Because when you know that, you have leverage.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I say that because in the end, that's what really happened. There was success, there were things that were happening, it could have gone into a completely different direction, it could have been a different artist, like it could have been whatever it was, but it didn't resonate with him. And he was smart enough to cut ties and be like, yo, that's not me.
Yeah.
I'm not that guy, and I don't tell those stories.
Yes.
So guess what? Time out.
Yes.
We're not making any music. I'm walking away from this shit for a while.
Yes.
You know, so it's like integrity, man. Like, because at the end of the day, there's no better stories than the stories of the continent.
Yes.
That's what everybody wants.
Yeah. And the story has to be
That's
told.
why the fuck they made Lion King.
Yeah.
That's why they just keep making things
out. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there is admiration for the people, you know, and the stories and the things that we stand for. We just have to live up to it, and I think the more we do that, the more people it will resonate with people, and the more people will want to make more business, you know. And as far as the new artists that are coming out, whether it be West Africa or here, it's just understand your place and make good deals for yourself. Because we live in a technology age, man.
Yes.
Everything is in the fingertips. You know what I mean? So you have the power. If you have the audience, you have the power.
Yeah.
So it's like use that, wield that, leverage that power, get good deals. You know what I mean? This whole 360 idea where, you know, it's the slave mentality of like, I'm gonna own every piece of it. And by the way, I own your publishing. Like all of that shit, man, that's old school.
Yeah, man.
You know, that shit is for the birds. So we gotta protect the art, you know, and protect each other more than anything else. Protect each other and fucking celebrate each other.
Yes. That's what's up.
Yes.
I'm glad.
Repeat that again.
Yeah.
Repeat that.
Protect yourself, protect each other, protect your music, and celebrate each other.
And that's
you'll
why
win.
we need that unification.
Yeah.
You guys have to understand, African artists, especially right now, when you're getting these opportunities to bubble on the Billboard charts, it's like we have to realize the mission. African music was never played in the West in the mainstream radio. So this revolution of guys, or these divisions, little divisions, people complaining all the time, pounding Nigeria, oh, Nigerian music, this, that, and the other, oh, Tanzanian music, this and that. We have that a lot in this Kenyan music industry. And sometimes I try to tell them, like, it's a scarcity mentality.
Yeah.
You know, Africa is so diverse. And the beauty of Africa, if you've done a lot of research, our diversity is our strength.
100%.
Yes,
100%.
Yeah, and sometimes you might call some music, look like the jam that we did, the water jam that we just did.
Yeah.
That's a Somali vibe.
Yes.
But when Philly just saying like, oh, that's Chakacha.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So you see the similarities are so, the styles, you might hear a vibe from a different side of the continent.
Yeah.
But all, you might call it different names, but it's the same music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I hate it when we start fighting each other instead of looking at the mission ahead of us.
Yes.
So we should, as you say, you know,
Yeah.
let's celebrate each other,
Yeah.
you know, and push the continent forward.
100%. It's
Yeah.
like an African music is not one uniform, right? It's
Yes.
not. That's how it's painted to the average mind.
Yes.
That it is. You know, it's like back in the day. I know in the U.S. you would hear people say, "Oh, hey, he talks African."
Yeah.
Like, bro, African is not a
It's
language.
It's not a language.
Yeah.
Africa is not a country. It's not a country.
And it's not a country.
But we wish.
Yeah.
We wish
Yeah.
Africa to become one country.
100.
One day.
Yeah.
Like I.
Because we didn't create the borders.
Yeah, we did not.
Yeah, we didn't create these borders. You know, fuck the borders.
Yeah.
But there is also, you know, even without the borders, there was an appreciation for each other's
Yeah,
culture,
yeah.
each other's territories.
Uh-huh.
We had those, you know,
Systems and systems
yeah,
were set
system
up.
of like
We're
it's
going to solve our
And we can
problems.
say that there were governments.
Yes.
yeah,
government,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
And the governments were elders, right?
Yeah.
It's like we believed in the elder system.
Yeah.
There is a tribal system. There's ways to handle things, and I think all of these things were stripped through time. But that's like we're here now, right? So it's like if you are a Kenyan, right, and you grew up on Kenyan music, there's value in that. There's value in like the sound.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like so if you
Actually, I
if you
think the biggest value is who you are.
exactly, that's your identity.
Yes.
Right? So it's like, why not celebrate your identity? The reason why we won across the world is because we celebrated our identity.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And
Like
again,
it's like when you celebrate your identity, the world respects that.
Respects that.
And
for real.
they come and support it.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Can't
Like,
say it better, bro.
Yeah, it's like
Troubadour was all sampled from East Africa. It was an East African sound,
yeah.
but even some of these East Africans don't know that Troubadour was all sampled from East Africa.
Yeah.
And to see the wonders he did all over the world.
Yeah, if
even
you
up to
beat-
now, you know?
Yeah, you know,
It's one of the albums you put in, you want to listen to the whole album.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, so I mean, for me, like, there's no better time. It's like guys like you and Juice over here. This is an important moment in African music
East
in general,
African music.
and East African music in general. You guys are in the forefront because of not what you've done already, but you're still in it and you're still pushing the envelope and still pushing it forward. And that has been recognized by an academy that kind of notarizes everything in music,
Yeah.
right? That is the goal of every musician, is to win a Grammy or at least to be nominated, right? That is to be, not to say that it's important or it kind of solidifies what a musician has done, but it is to be acknowledged, it is to be celebrated,
Yeah.
because if I am an up-and-coming Kenyan artist, and I am trying to get into this game, I need examples.
True.
You know what I mean? Like I need to look at something and be like, oh, those guys.
Yeah, to motivate you.
Oh man, those guys, they got nominated. You know, those guys won it. Those guys won a Grammy. So it's like that is the standard of what music is set for lack of, you know what I mean, any other fucking thing that's in this world. So it does that. So I think once again I'll go back. You gotta celebrate each other, man.
Yeah.
Celebrate the music that you know that you come from and that you
Talking about
grew up on.
celebrating each other. Hardstone has a song on Billboard charts, but nobody's talking about it.
Yeah, but that's the reality now. When
You see what I'm saying?
That's the reality telling you.
Right now, he's got a Billboard. There's a track on Billboard that he did
Yes,
for the Jamaican.
that exposes how out of touch our industry is. Sometimes people run around acting like they know how the industry works.
Yeah.
How would you know? How would you be beating up your chest that you know how the industry works, and you don't know the elements that are in the industry? You're not celebrating them.
Yeah.
You don't even know other categories are there in music. You know.
Yeah, the power of music is listen, we've all lived in the U.S. You guys know what the U.S. is all. What I mean, let's be real. What is the number one export of the U.S.? Like what is the one thing?
Entertainment.
What is the one thing that is shot out there that just reflects back, and they're like, that's what I want to be.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like it's music, it's entertainment,
music.
it's Hollywood.
Yeah.
It's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that shows you the power of just art itself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Like
So
we go
it's
to America and we assume, we used to like what you see, we remember like the mentality we had,
Yeah, on
you're
TV.
gonna be picking up dollars
Yeah,
from the streets, because all what is sold on TV.
Yeah.
And I've never seen any negative image of America, even though I know the experience in America, how tough it is. The only time people knew the real America is when these Black Lives Matter movement started.
And when
Because some of
George
these things
Floyd
were shot on TV or on video.
Yeah, yeah.
Even the Africans saying, yo,
Oh,
you mean
yeah.
police can kill you right there without nobody saying anything?
It's a
Yeah,
reality.
the curtain got
Yeah.
exposed. But yeah, but what I say that because right now our Nigerian brothers are winning, right?
Yes.
They are killing the game.
Yeah, and we should clap for them. Clap for them.
You know, respect
Yeah.
to them, much love, because they're doing it in a way, you know, that is unapologetic,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Yes.
And they're also at the same time changing the narrative of their country.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
now you've gone from this, you know what I mean, like
The negativity.
The scamming,
negativity,
the
the
negativity stuff.
scamming,
The hush puppy stuff.
but listen, you're dancing to that shit now.
Yeah.
It's in your clubs.
Yeah, man.
It's on your radio.
Yeah.
It's winning your awards.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Like that is the power. It can change the image
Yep.
of a nation. You know, and I say that because it's like the more people understand that, the more you can actually contribute to your own society. And you know what I mean? Like your own side of the continent.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like
So everybody should play their part.
everybody play their part.
And we should look at this success of our brothers from the West as a way of us coming in. Because you remember, even I always compare the industry, the African industry, with the Jamaican industry.
Right.
Remember, Jamaica was like, there's a time when they started popping and getting signed on the majors. Atlantic jumped on a lot of that stuff.
Yes.
I remember when these guys used to tour with one bus. Like
Yeah.
it would be Sean Paul, all
Yeah,
the
Shaggy.
all of them were in
Yeah.
like one band, but 12 motherfuckers.
Yeah.
You know?
They still do that.
They still are.
They still do that. That's
And
why
then
Jamaica
they-
wins all the time.
Oh, yes. And
They work together.
They work together.
and when Sean Paul got out,
Yeah.
Elephant Man followed. Everybody was on a major. Boom, 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 boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom, boom,
Yeah,
boom,
yeah,
boom,
yeah.
boom. You know?
Yeah.
And that's what we should look at this Nigerian West Africa success.
Yeah.
That's how we should look at it in
100%.
on the international stage.
Yeah.
So we should support, you know? And then once this thing is happening, eventually, trust me,
Yeah.
because if you look at even how these artists work, I've seen the West African brothers work with the Congolese brothers.
Yeah.
I've seen them work with the South African brothers. I've seen them work with the Kenyan brothers too.
Yeah.
You know, so we should look at it like that, collaborating to move the movement forward.
Yeah.
But this thing of fighting each other, trying to lock guys from the radio, you can't stop good music. Good music is good music, you know?
No.
So that's the same thing we're trying to tell you. The world is not, sometimes you should come out of the small bubble. When you live in a small bubble, sometimes you end up thinking that, oh, I run shit in this small bubble, but there's so much out there to admire.
So much.
Yeah.
Listen, every industry has a ceiling, you know. So.
All right.
So we.
Jiggling, jiggling, jiggling.
Oh yeah. All right. It was a pleasure being at the Culture Hub, the African Connection. Yeah, man. We're gonna have more of these conversations.
Yeah, man.
More. I can't wait to, you know, dig deep into experiences we've all had on the road. Stories that we can talk about.
Yeah,
I'm sure you guys got a lot of stories.
So many. We haven't even started talking about the stories on the road.
Yeah, man. Yeah, but we're gonna sign out. Until next time. You know, stay connected. And looking forward. You've been listening to the sounds of Jabali Afrika.
Not forgetting, Yahweh's the kind of strong, straight from the Congo.
Yes, sir.
Kake Wakake, straight from Ugenya. Right on the keys, Michael Nyanj, aka Fishtula Master.
That was Mr. Rayzak. Mr. Rayzak, Mr. You is kind of strong.
Yeah, man.
Mr. Muzi and Mr. Michael, the man. Bless up. And you're watching the African Connection. Keep it African. The way Rayzak say, let's celebrate each other.
Yeah.
Don't put anybody down. All right?
Yeah.
Are we out? Salute.